I'm not even looking at the opening credits this time. It's gonna be a long one. Right, so there's a tracking shot of the map in Dragonstone, and then as usual we start where we left off last week, with the raiding party beyond the wall commencing their, let's be honest, really dumb plan. Tormund lets it be known he'd fuck any of them, Gendry remarks he'd never seen snow before, and Tormund snorts at Jon's definition of north, and suggests that he might be better off bending the knee. Gendry hasn't forgotten what the Brotherhood did to him, but the Hound tells him to stop whinging. Thoros gives Gendry a drink, and we cut to Jon and Jorah talking about their dads. Jon tries to give Jorah Longclaw, but he won't take it. Cut to Winterfell, and Arya's talking to Sansa without looking at her about memories of Sean Bean before leading into "Bitch, I found the letter." An oddly hot-headed Arya chews Sansa out for this, completely jumping to conclusions about the situation. Sansa, for some reason, doesn't point this out, and an easily avoidable conflict could be on the horizon. Cut back to the north, and the Hound tells Tormund he hates gingers, also teaching him a new word. Tormund clumsily flirts with him, and then they talk about Brienne and how monstrous her potential babies with Tormund would be. Jon and Beric chat about God, and the Hound recognises the mountain he saw in the fire. Cut to Dragonstone, and Dany gives Tyrion the backhanded compliment that the thing she likes about him is that he's not a hero, because heroes are stupid. Tyrion's like, "You like Jon," and she's like, "I don't!" They chat shit about Cersei for a bit, and then talk about ruling philosophy, which Tyrion uses to tell Dany off about burning the Tarleys. They then talk about succession. Dany doesn't want to talk about succession. Back in the north, and the party are being attacked by the smoke monster from Lost, or just walking through a blizzard, and come face to face with a large zombie polar bear, and whoa! It got Nameless Extra 1. He had so much to live for. Thoros and Beric fire up their Lord of Lightsabers and set it on fire. It doesn't kill the bear, and it starts to maul Thoros. The Hound can't help him because he's scared of fire, so Jorah shanks it in the neck with dragonglass and it dies. Beric seals Thoros' wounds with fire and helps him up. Storm transition. Cut to Winterfell. Sansa is telling Littlefinger about the letter, for some reason not suspecting him at all. Littlefinger kisses Sansa's ass a little and says things will be fine. Cut back to the A story, the north, and Jorah chats to Thoros about a battle once. Thoros doesn't remember because he was drunk. They happen across zombies! They happen across a zombie raiding party. A White Walker notices a fire, and they attack! Jorah is quickly outmatched, but then Jon kills the White Walker, and the rest of them just sort of die off, conveniently leaving one straggler. They knock it to the ground, and it tries to scream for help. The Hound tries to silence it, and oh, gross! Jon looks perturbed. They sense incoming zombies. Jon sends Gendry back to send a raven for help, leaving Tormund with his hammer. They run along until they encounter thin ice. It's probably best to be careful, so they look behind them and zombies! Fucking run! Tragically, the zombies catch Nameless Extra 2, but his sacrifice is not in vain, as it causes a rift in the ice that keeps the zombies away from the party. He saved them all. Cut to Gendry having done his best Barry Allen impression and arrived back at the castle really bloody quickly. It's nighttime now. There's a brief establishing shot of the party huddled up on an island before Gendry does his best Titus O'Neill impression and face plants on his way to the objective. He's greeted by Davos, who he tells to send a raven. Back to the party, they're sitting on a rock. It's morning now. The Hound kicks their captive zombie because why not? Oh, and Thoros is dead. Sad face. The Hound is sorry for the loss, but not too sorry to steal his drink. Beric says a little prayer. Jon reminds him to burn the body and remarks he could do with some fire, so Beric activates his Lord of Lightsaber, and then says another prayer. Jorah remarks that even if they don't freeze soon, the water between them and the zombies will, at which point they're fucked. He also points out that when Jon killed a White Walker, most of the zombies just kind of died off on their own. He suggests going for the walkers to thin out the numbers quicker, but Jon points out that they shouldn't risk killing their captured zombie. Beric offers an alternative. Kill the Night King. If they manage that, theoretically all the White Walkers will die and their zombie followers with them, effectively ending the war then and there. An excellent and inventive suggestion, with the minor drawback that they are a tad outnumbered. The episode leaves them to ponder their situation, and we go back to Winterfell. Sansa just got an invitation from Cersei to go to King's Landing, and she's like, fuck that, and tells Brienne to go in her place. Brienne doesn't want to leave her alone with Littlefinger, but she's having none of it and sends her off. Over to Dragonstone, Daenerys apparently got the Raven. Bloody hell, that was quick, wasn't it? So she wants to go and help, and Tyrion is advising her against it, saying Jon and company knew the risks, and that she shouldn't risk her life for the sake of a good action set piece. For the sake of a few men. Tyrion points out that if Daenerys dies, everyone is basically fucked, but Dany's not in the habit of doing nothing. She takes her 3 dragons and sets off in the direction of the plot. Back north of the wall, the Hound is staring down the horde of zombies, and chucks a stone at them, knocking the jaw off one of them because why not? Not content with that, he throws another one, which makes it about halfway across, and lets them know the ice is solid again. Nice going, Clegane. Everyone braces themselves for a fight, and for a while they seem to be doing okay, but only Jon, Beric and Jorah can effectively kill them, since conventional weapons can't do more than knock them down. Eventually the numbers catch up to them. Tormund gets piled on by a bunch of them, but the Hound bails him out. But all the while they're getting pushed back up the rock. Eventually they reach the top, and there's nowhere to run. But thankfully, they're all still alive. Oh god, Nameless Extra 3! No! The undead bastards! Jon stops to mourn, as he should. Without Nameless Extra 3, they're lambs to the slaughter. They brace for their inevitable demise. Daenerys Ex Machina! 3 massive dragons come swooping down, raining fire on the zombies. What a spectacle to behold, arriving at the last possible moment. But bloody hell, that was quick. How big is Westeros again? Right, so she sets down and they all get on Drogon while Jon holds back the zombies. They urge him to get on, but he's really close to leveling up, so he just wants to rack up his kill count a bit more. Eventually, the Night King pulls out a javelin, and after a slow and suspenseful build-up, chucks it into the sky, blindsiding Viserion, causing him to crash into the ice. Viserion is dead. Sad face. Jon kills 2 more and locks eyes with the Night King, for just long enough to see him go for another javelin. Recognizing now that those things do not in fact fuck around, Jon finally decides to run for Drogon, telling them to get out of dodge. Unfortunately, he's tackled through the ice and dragged underwater before he can get to them, forcing them to abandon him, which frankly I think they're generous for not having done already. Drogon manages to dodge the javelin, but almost sends Jorah falling off in the process. They pull him back on and head for home. Meanwhile, Jon manages to pull himself out of the water and find his sword, but he can barely move from how cold he is. Eventually the zombies notice him, and he braces for his inevitable demise. Benjen ex machina! Uncle Benjen's back in— Oh, wait, no, never mind. Well, that was disappointing. Not for nothing, he could have got on the horse in the time it took him to tell Jon there was no time for him to get on the horse. Leaving his long-lost uncle to die, Jon rides off into the distance. Back at the wall, the Hound loads the captured zombie into a boat, says his goodbyes, such as they are to Tormund and Beric, and heads off. Meanwhile, Daenerys is looking mournfully out into the distance. Just as she's about to go in at Jorah's behest, she hears a horn and sees Jon's horse. Cut to the interior, and Jon is being tucked into bed and his wet clothes removed. Then he sees the stab wounds from Season 5, and we cut back to Winterfell. Sansa's searching Arya's things and finds several faces. Arya catches her at it and takes the opportunity to creep her out as much as possible, establishing while she does so that her really good David Bradley impression was just faceless man magic of some sort. Ah well. She hands her a dagger and walks off. Cut to the boat back from the wall, and Jon is waking up to find Dany over him. He apologizes for getting Viserion killed and pledges himself to Daenerys. Not like that. Well, that comes later and brings its own set of problems. But you know what I mean. Cut back to north of the wall, and the zombies have got a load of really big chains from somewhere and are dragging Viserion's corpse from the lake. The Night King approaches it and summons the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Ooh, that's not good.